All right, Mike, here it's 7-0. Baylor leading UCLA. Glasgow Martin with a rushing touchdown for the Bears. And on the subsequent kickoff, Stephen Manfro took it out to midfield, and you just saw first down. A gain of 8 yards for Jonathan Franklin on 1st and 10. That pass deflected at the line and incomplete, so it'll be 3rd and short.
On UCLA, when you play an offense like Baylor has, there's so much pressure on your offense and on Brett Hundley and Jonathan Franklin to hold serve in these kinds of instances, because you know that Baylor's going to score a lot of points in this football game.
Baylor last year scored 67 points in its bowl game. That was with Robert Griffin III at quarterback. Here's Jonathan Franklin, and Baylor's defense, which struggled mightily this year, comes up big on 3rd down against a very good rushing team. Jonathan Franklin was 1,700 rushing yards entering today, gets stuffed there on 3rd down.
Surprised that UCLA is running laterally with Jonathan Franklin. They hold the size advantage up front. I anticipate them coming off the ball and running right at Baylor. The thing that Baylor does well, not a lot of things well on defense, but the thing they do well is run. So I anticipate UCLA to come down more downhill right at him, especially maybe a 4th down play.
They're going on 4th and 4, or at least maybe trying to draw Baylor offside. Play clock at 2. So now you get a delay of game penalty, and now you'll punt. And Jim Moore not happy about that, with either not snapping the football and running the play. Not sure why. It's early in the game also. Do you really want to take a chance there and give Baylor the ball potentially in midfield if you don't get it?
Well, he understands how many points Baylor's going to score. And I think that we talked about how it affects the offense. It also affects how you coach the football game. And I think Jim Moore wanted to run a play there. That wasn't just to fake him off.
Locke, one of the best punters in the country. And it'll be fair caught at about the 16-yard line. And welcome to the booth here in San Diego with Brian Greasy. I'm Dave Pasch. Jen Brown will join us shortly on the field. How about Baylor? Last year, Robert Griffin III wins the Heisman Trophy, #2 pick in the draft. Now he's going to the Pro Bowl. Yet they still lead the nation in total offense with Nick Florence.
Yeah, everybody thought that Baylor was going to fall off the map, right? They were going to get blown out of the Big 12. They lost their first 4 games in the Big 12, and everybody's saying, see, I told you so. And what happens? Nick Florence starts to play well. They get it back in C-Strunk. Terrence Williams, we knew he was going to play well. And they have replaced each one of those guys at the quarterback position, at the running back position, and at the wide receiver position in Kendall Wright, and they have kept all of that production. It's amazing.
And they'll run C-Strunk straight ahead. He spun down at the 20 for about 4. The Baylor defense with 2 3-and-outs here. As for the UCLA story, Jim Moore in 1 year turning a team that lost 8 games last year into a 9-win team. If they win today, it'll be their first 10-win season since 2005. And this is Moore's first college job. He's been an NFL assistant and head coach. Had to adjust, and UCLA bought in. On 2nd and 6, Florence will throw. Got crushed, but finds an open Terrence Williams down the sideline. He stepped out of bounds, but still a big play for Baylor. Williams stepped out around the 30-yard line. They'll spot it at the 32. It'll be first down for Baylor.
What a play by Nick Florence. You want to talk about toughness? Take a look at this hit that he takes. He knows he's got to play downfield. He gets leveled by Zungwalt. And then you on the outside, you play man-to-man at UCLA against Terrence Williams. He beat him by 3 yards. That's not even close. And UCLA's fortunate he stepped out.
Williams led the nation in receiving yards during the regular season with 1,764. C-Strunk on first down. Those guys to the 26-yard line for 6. Brought down by Eric Kendricks, who led the Pac-12 in stops.
Everybody talked about Kendall Wright and leaving and going to the NFL and the production that he had a year ago. Terrence Williams, they say he's not as fast straight ahead as Kendall Wright. That last play, I mean, that's as fast as you need to be to play in the NFL.
They'll take that. Glasgow Martin, and that's the first time really UCLA has kept Baylor to short yardage on the ground, gain of a couple.
Well, and UCLA has come out early in this game, Dave, and played man-to-man coverage against Baylor, which is a very dangerous proposition because of guys like Terrence Williams. That play may have taken them out of man-to-man. Now they're playing zone.
3rd down and 2. They'll keep it on the ground, and Martin is slammed down. There's a penalty flag down. Dayton Jones, 17.5 tackles for a loss with a second-team All-Pac-12 performer.
Offside, defense number 43. The 5-yard penalty results in the first down.
That's Damian Holmes. That's the second penalty that has led directly to a Baylor first down.
Well, Baylor is good enough on offense. You don't need to help them, but that's a huge penalty to give them a first down and unnecessary. Dayton Jones makes a great play, but this has been a reoccurring theme for UCLA all year. They're the most penalized team in all of college football.
There was a roughing the passer call earlier that negated a 3rd down play, gave him a first down as Florence bounces off tacklers and is close to the first down at the 10. We talked about Florence leading the nation in total offense, 3rd in passing, but his rushing numbers this year actually close to what RG3 did last year.
Well, it's just you see how tough this kid is, and for him to play each and every game this year and take these hits and take some shots and come back each and every game, I can't tell you how impressive that is at that position.
On 2nd and 1, Martin able to get the first down. It'll be 1st and goal. Damian Holmes on the tackle.
A lot of people wonder about this spread up-tempo offense when it gets inside the 15-10-yard line where you have to be able to run the football. But Baylor has had no trouble in this red zone areas because they're able to run that football in between the tackles.
Now they're going with an empty backfield. They'll put Florence under center. So 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. And Florence throwing a fade. Touchdown! Antoine Goodley. What a terrific throw by Florence. And Baylor off to a great start in San Diego.
This play was made by formation, getting the matchup that Baylor wanted. They wanted Goodley. They wanted him on the linebacker. This is Zomo. Here's Goodley right here, and he's just going to run a fade. And watch how perfect this ball is thrown. Right over the outside shoulder and in the breadbasket for Goodley. But that is a great call by Baylor and Art Briles.
Well, we talked earlier, as the point after is good, about Art Briles and the type of coach he is, sought after in the offseason by other schools, elected to stay at Baylor, and doesn't seem to matter who's operating the offense at the quarterback position. They score points. They already got 14 here against UCLA. 14 points. UCLA has been a terrific first quarter team, but not so far in this game. Just 7 yards of offense, and they've allowed Nick Florence to complete all 4 of his passes for 87 yards and that touchdown just before commercial. Manfro is deep. Return the last kick to midfield. They won't give him a chance here. That did go through the end zone, so a touchback. It'll come out to the 25. Well, Jim Morris, first year as head coach in Westwood, got him off to a 3-0 start. An impressive win against Nebraska. First time since 2009 they started the year 3-0. The highlight of their season, even though, as we mentioned, they beat Nebraska, was beating USC. As UCLA right now, after back-to-back losses to Stanford, and including the Pac-12 championship game, you'd have to say right now the best team in Los Angeles.
Absolutely, without question. And I think the biggest thing that Jim Morris brought to this equation is toughness.
They run Jonathan Franklin, and Baylor not fooled there. Gary Mason Jr. gets into the ground after a gain of a couple.
And I thought it was interesting talking with Jim Mora last night about when he interviewed for this job at UCLA. The athletic director, Dan Guerrero, asked him what he thought of UCLA. And Jim thought back and forth, what should I say? Should I tell him the truth? And he said, you know what? I think they're soft. And that's what they were. And there's no arguing that from a year ago.
Pass wide open is Fourier, able to pull it in for a first down. In fact, the athletic director told Mora, you know, I'm glad you said that. That's why we want you, because Absolutely. You're honest, and we see it too. And Mora has injected discipline into this program, and it paid off with a 9-win season. That's their first down of the game on offense. Breaking tackles is Jonathan Franklin, but eventually Ahmad Dixon gets into the turf at the 41.
And players want that. They want discipline. Players want a coach that knows what he's doing and knows what he wants. They don't want to have the limitless opportunity to do anything that they want, skip practice, all these kinds of things that were going on. And I think Jim Mora had the right recipe.
And pass it out on the flat to true freshman Kenneth Walker. And he stood up at the 44-yard line by Joe Williams and Mike Hicks. So third down coming up for UCLA. Inside 3 minutes to go in the opening quarter, and Baylor leading 14-0. And you can't have many more punts. You want to win the game if you're UCLA.
Give credit to Baylor's defense. They have come out in an aggressive fashion. Their defensive coordinator Phil Bennett told us they're going to be a little more aggressive in blitz and play some man-to-man coverage more so than they had all season. It's working so far. Here they come again. No safety in the middle of the field. Huntley's going to check. Signal his wide receiver on the weak side. Now can they execute?
And Baylor now drops a couple of guys deep, and a penalty flag comes in. There was some movement by UCLA. They're trying to get lined up.
Ball start. Offense number 60. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
It's on Jeff Baca, second team all Pac-12 guard.
When you take so long to change the play at the line of scrimmage, these offensive linemen in their stance quite a long time, and then the cadence gets off rhythm, and sometimes audibling at the line of scrimmage can lead to false start penalty.
He's in there a tackle right now because of an injury, but he's been the starter at guard this year. Huntley stepping up, nowhere to go. Ripped down by Chris McAllister. That's 2 sacks for Baylor after 13 in the first 12 games of the year. That was 112th in the country, and they force a punt.
Well, this was a coverage sack. Shaq Evans was downfield. They wanted to get the football to him on a deep square in, and he just fell down, and that gave Baylor the opportunity to get to Huntley.
Jeff Locke, first team all Pac-12 punter, booms this one with hang time, and it's fair caught by Levi Norwood at the 11-yard line. Let's check in now with the third member of our crew. Here's Jen Brown.
Thanks, Dave. Well, over here on the sideline, after that first Baylor touchdown, Jim Mora came over to his defensive bench. He said, we've got to play faster. You guys have to play faster and keep pace with Baylor. Well, after that second Baylor touchdown, he got his entire defense. He had them circle up around him. He spent a good 3 to 5 minutes talking to them, imploring them to play faster. And I have to say, the guys walked away pretty fired up. So we'll see if they get that message here.
And how long will the next meeting be if they don't get a stop here?
Well, if they can't keep the ball on offense, it won't be very long because they'll be going back out on the field.
Minute and a half to go. Baylor backed up. UCLA did a great job getting after the quarterback this year. 7th in the country in sacks, but despite the one they got on the bad snap where it was an easy sack for Barr, they have had trouble getting to Florence. And part of that is because of the Baylor offense, as Florence will keep and gets wrapped up for a loss on the play. Donovan Carter brings him down a 1-yard setback.
Well, the question is, can UCLA continue to play man-to-man coverage on the back end? And I think they were concerned about the interior running game, which they got gashed in the first drive. Then they play man-to-man on the second drive, and they get beat by Terrence Williams on the outside. So what will they do on this drive? So far, playing a little bit of zone.
You surprised at Baylor's defense so far and how they've shut down UCLA? More so in the offense for Baylor?
Absolutely.
Here's Martin. And finally, he's brought down around the 17. Dalton Hilliard leading the charge. So 6 yards there. Third down coming up for Baylor. It'll be 3rd and 4. They'll go with an empty set.
No linebacker in the middle of the field here. If they want to run the quarterback, they've got it.
No linebacker, no safety.
This is what you force defenses to do. Baylor's so good at it. You force them to the perimeter, then run inside.
Kendricks creeping over now. And Florence in trouble. They get to him this time. Cassius Marsh, who had 7.5 sacks during the regular season, forces a punt on the final play of the opening quarter.
The thing that impresses me about Marsh is his hands. Watch him use his hands to get by the left tackle, and that's just too easy. But this defensive line for UCLA is physical. They've got great hands, and they get to the quarterback.
And that's the end of the first. All hot, beat the #1 team in the BCS standings in Kansas State. And despite the layoff in between the end of the regular year and the postseason, they look sharp, leading 14-zip. Here's Evans on the return, and UCLA will start at the 45-yard line of Baylor. So far, only 11 plays run by the Bruins. Half of them have been Jonathan Franklin rushes, but he hasn't been able to get going yet. You see the numbers. Had a terrific career and was 9th in the country this season in rushing.
Well, what I'd like to see is them run Jonathan Franklin downhill. They've run him on the perimeter, and that's allowed Baylor to run to get to him. They have a distinct advantage, UCLA does, up front with the size of their offensive line versus his defensive line.
They have both tailbacks in the game, Jordan James and Franklin, and they'll give it to Franklin. Wrapped up after a short gain, only a couple yards, and their leading tackler on defense, Bryce Hager, led the Big 12 in stops, made the play. .24 yards on 6 carries for Franklin so far. They lost Damian Thigpen, an excellent back, in the USC game with a torn ACL. Hundley gonna throw deep, got a man. It's pulled in by Jerry Johnson for a first down at the 25-yard line.
Now, Jerry Johnson is a guy that's been in and out of the lineup, struggled with injuries and consistency, but when he's healthy, he can be a game changer. And he has become a target for Brett Hundley in addition to Shaq Evans.
Big kid, 6'3", 210. 18 yards on that pass play, 27 catch of the year, missed all of last year due to injury. They're going to hand it off to Devin Fuller as they try a little trickery there, an inside run to a former quarterback now playing wide receiver, and he's brought down by Chris McAllister for nothing on the play.
Well, and Fuller is a guy that Jim Mora and Noel Mazzoni really want to get involved in this offense. He had 7 catches in the Pac-12 championship game against Stanford. He's a dynamic playmaker. Jim Mora said when he was watching some film of him in high school, he reminded him a lot of Michael Vick, who Jim Mora coached at the Atlanta Falcons. So a special player.
Hundley in the pocket, going to fire into the end zone, incomplete. He was trying for Evans. And Mike Hicks, a senior leader on defense for Baylor, was in coverage. It'll be 3rd down and 11.
Well, this defensive secondary for Baylor has been much maligned, but Mike Hicks played this perfectly. Shaq Evans one-on-one with the safety, and Hicks gets there right on time. Very well done by the safety.
Third down and 11 for UCLA. 0 for 3 on 3rd down so far. Hundley stumbles, but that play was going nowhere from the get-go as Eric Lackey got there along with Bo Blackshear. And now they're probably out of field goal range.
Well, miscommunication on the offensive line. They've had to switch up a little bit. Here's Baca right here. He's going to turn, and Blackshear is going to come free. Nobody even blocks him. It's just too easy. But Baca has been at right tackle. He's been at right guard. They've had some injuries and sickness, and so some miscommunication cost UCLA.
4th and 18, and they're going for it. Not a punt, huh? Hundley with time. Going to throw underneath. Did they think it was 3rd down? That didn't make any sense. Fourier tackled, and Baylor will take over on downs. I get not trying a field goal because you got a true freshman kicker who's 1 of 5 from 40+. That would have been about a 52-yarder, but why not punt? You got one of the best punters in the country. Pin him deep.
I'll throw it in the end zone.
Robert Griffin III won a Heisman Trophy last year. And Nick Florence leading the nation in total offense and has a chance to break a lot of RG3 single-season records. And he got a touchdown pass in this game, and he'll keep here, and he totally fooled Barr, but a good play by Zumwalt. Otherwise, that's probably a 7 or 8 yard gain. Instead, it's only 2 for Florence.
Well, and I think the thing about Nick Florence is he's doing it in a different way. He doesn't have the athletic ability that Robert the Griffin III had, but he has the ability to make quick decisions, get the ball out of his hand, and make the right reads at the right time and execute the offense. And when you have players like Ganaway and Seastrunk and Reese, you don't need to be a great athlete to execute this offense.
And Florence did play, started 7 games in 2009 during RG3's freshman season when he got hurt with a knee injury. As Florence steps up and takes off. First down and more. Florence all the way to the 45-yard line. Look at him run.
Well, as soon as I said that he doesn't have the ability like RG3, he says, well, I'll show you. I'm going to get outside and run a little bit. A quick slide in the pocket, and then just a little bit of speed to get to the outside. And those are the kinds of plays that kill defenses. When you cover it, you have it sealed out, and then the quarterback beats you with his feet.
17 yards on that play. And now Florence throwing deep. Oh, broken up at the last second. It was intended for Terrence Williams, and Aaron Hester knocked it down.
Aaron Hester got beat for the big play by Williams. This time, it looked like he got there early. I'm sorry, that looks like a penalty to me. Came through with the elbow and hit the head before he hit the football.
But no penalty flag, and so it's 2nd down and 10. The Baylor offensive line, underrated. We talk a lot about the quarterbacks in the run game. That time Seastrunk grabbed from behind by Barr. You see the speed there. Barr coming from the other side. Again, he was a running back, converted to outside linebacker this year. Leads the nation in sacks and is the defensive player of the year in the conference.
Well, the thing that's so amazing about him is he didn't even get to practice in the spring. He pulled a hamstring after 2 practices, so he didn't even get to play the defensive position. Then they go to camp and he breaks a hand. So it's just really amazing, his transformation.
Florence on 3rd down, gonna go deep, got a man. It's pulled in by Reese. He'll score. Touchdown, Baylor. A 55-yard touchdown pass for Florence. His 2nd TD toss of the game, and Reese now with 9 touchdown catches on the season.
Well, UCLA has blitzed repeatedly early in this game. Another cross-dog internal blitz with man-to-man coverage on the outside. And you're playing with fire when you do that against this Baylor offense. You've got speed to burn on the outside, and UCLA can't run with it.
3rd down and 9, and it's a 55-yard pass play.
Tevin Reese has 15 career touchdowns, 13 of them for 40 yards or more. That's the definition of a big-time player. Lead, and they've done it by finding some matchups that they like. They get Tevin Reese matched up on Dalton Hilliard, who's a safety in the slot, and this is a no-brainer. That is a track meet, and if UCLA does not find the matchups that they like on this side of the football, it will continue to be a track meet.
UCLA has played some fast-paced offenses, but I don't think they've seen anything like this. You can't simulate it in practice.
The thing about it is it's so, the pace is so fast that it prevents the substitutions, and so you have guys that are mismatched, and then they're taking advantage of it.
Short kickoff, Manfro up to the 24-yard line. RG3 lit up college football last year, won the Heisman Trophy. Nick Florence's numbers are pretty similar. Didn't have as many wins as Robert Griffin III, but statistically he's right there, and his rushing numbers are close to RG3's as well. Won't probably be a starter in the NFL like Robert Griffin III. Not going to be a top 5 pick.
No, let's just appreciate what he's done this year. You know, the NFL is a whole other story, but let's just appreciate what Nick Florence did, following a legend in Robert Griffin III, coming out each week and taking hits and being tough and being a leader, and then also being the Big 12 Scholar Athlete of the Year.
Yeah.
This kid's brilliant. So I just really appreciate everything about Nick Florence.
7-yard pass play, and then they'll run Jordan James to get the first down out to the 36. Gary Mason Jr. on the stop. Now let's see what Brett Hundley can do here. Redshirt freshman has put up some big numbers himself, but he's going to be down an offensive lineman here. Jake Brendel, their starting center, a freshman All-American, shaken up on the play.
And this will be a big blow for UCLA. They already have an injury on the right tackle position with Simon Goins. They've got, you know, a replacement in Alberto Sid, who's been sick all week, and they've had a lot of changes on this offensive line. Started the year with 3 freshmen. They lose Brendel. This will be a big blow.
And Baca has played some at tackle. You wonder if they might move him to center. And he's taken a year more driven. Jake Brendel, starting center, injures his right leg. You see him get rolled up on by Javante McGee of Baylor. Torian White, the starting left tackle, is next to him. They're looking at his left foot. So you get Jeff Baca at center.
This is an offense that's predicated on running the football with Jonathan Franklin, but even the great Jonathan Franklin's going to have a hard time running the ball with no lineman.
Hundley to throw. Ball flutters. His arm was hit. And Baylor again getting pressure on the quarterback.
Well, and what happens now is Baylor understands that there's no running game, so we're just going to come after the quarterback and rush the passer and pin our ears back, and that's what's happening. And that time they get to the arm of Brett Hundley, but without a running game, Brett Hundley is not going to be as an effective a quarterback.
And you got Suafilo, who started at left guard, now playing left tackle, as Hundley completes it to Jordan Payton.
Well, Suafilo, remember, he's just coming back this year from a 2-year stint on a mission, and he played left tackle before his freshman year. He was a starter as a true freshman. Very talented player who they feel like is going to be an outstanding pro prospect. So it's not like it's completely foreign to him playing left tackle, but it has been 3 years since he's played the position.
You got Alberto Sid, who you mentioned has been sick all week. He's in there at right guard. 3rd and 7. Hundley has to step up, and Hundley gets the first down. Lost the ball, but will keep possession. Out of bounds around the 40. Chance Casey poked it free, but it's a first down for UCLA.
Huge momentum play. You're down 21-0. There's nothing. The pressure's coming after you. Sometimes as a quarterback, you got to take matters into your own hands, and Brett Hundley does just that. Gives his team a little shot in the arm.
Hundley rushed for 9 touchdowns this season. School record for total offense for a single season as a freshman. Picked up 19 on that play. Spot of the fumble, since it was fumble forward, is where they'll snap it the 42-yard line. Hundley steps up and almost throws a pick. Chance Casey couldn't hang on, otherwise it's 6 the other way.
Brett Hundley makes a great play with his feet on the previous play. This time he's got to keep the football. You throw the ball late out there, this should be a pick 6. The game's potentially over 28-0. He's got to run this football. He's 6'6", 230 pounds. You got to run the football in that instance.
They bring Fuller in motion. Hundley has to step up, and he's going to get sacked. Bryce Hager with the sack. That's 3 sacks now for a team that had 13 during the, or 4 sacks rather. They had 13 during the regular season. How much of that is coverage? How much of it is Hundley making mistakes?
Well, what's happening now is this offense for UCLA is out of sorts. They've had all kinds of injuries up front, so Brett Hundley doesn't know if he's going to be protected or not. So all of a sudden now you're not looking downfield going through your reads, you're looking at the rush. Remember, he's just a redshirt freshman, and he's not immune to these kinds of pressures. He's shown great poise through the year, but tonight they're a little out of sort.
Hundley gets nailed as he gets rid of the pass. Incomplete. They brought a blitz. Sam Hall, the safety. And then Fourier shaken up downfield. He was the intended receiver. UCLA is going to punt on 4th and 14.
Well, Phil Bennett, defensive coordinator, is going to bring all-out pressure. No safety. Good read by Hundley to throw the ball to your 6'7" tight end. He just threw the ball too high. And you can see the accumulation of pressure and hits on Hundley affecting his accuracy.
Locke again with a great punt, and fair caught inside the 10 at the 8 by Levi Norwood. Capital One Bowl Week continues Friday with 3 games at 2. Ohio takes on Louisiana Monroe, a team that almost beat Baylor and beat Arkansas this year. That's in the Advocare V100 Independence Bowl. Then you got the Russell Athletic Bowl, Virginia Tech Rutgers, followed by Minnesota Texas Tech, and the Meineke Car Care Bowl of Texas.
Well, you mentioned Colton Browning for Louisiana Monroe had one of the best years at the quarterback position of anybody. Threw for 27 touchdowns.
How about Ohio, we saw them beat
Yeah.
Penn State. We thought, hey, it's a team that could win the MAC. They don't even win the MAC, and the team that does is playing in a BCS game in Northern Illinois.
I don't think anybody could have predicted what happened with Kent State and Northern Illinois. Those two teams really came out of nowhere.
Seastrong slips and loses a yard on the play. Odighizuwa was in the backfield for UCLA.
Well, you hate to say it at this point in the game, in the second quarter, 8 minutes left, but if UCLA doesn't stop this offense, the game might be over.
The way Baylor's defense is playing. Because last year in their bowl game,
Oh, that's true. You do remember
yeah,
that.
it was 67-56, but their defense wasn't playing like this.
No. Well, somebody needs to get Brett Hundley in this offense on the sideline and say, take a deep breath and let's get back to the fundamentals.
Going to keep it on the ground with Seastrong. He gets grabbed again by Odighizuwa. You love when I say that.
Well, back-to-back plays, you got the Diggy in.
Well, he's making plays. They need somebody to stop the run. Third down and long. Florence 5 of 6 passing. Only thrown 6 passes, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. They like to throw it deep on third and long, and they picked up 55 yards on a 3rd and 9 and scored a touchdown last time they had the ball. They're going to throw it underneath this time to the tight end, Niber. He lost the ball. UCLA's got it. Picking it up is true freshman Randall Goforth, and the Bruins in business in the red zone.
Great play by the linebacker, number 35. Zumwalt comes up and puts a shoulder and a helmet right on the football. That's the kind of play that UCLA needed defensively in a game like this to change the momentum. Outstanding hit by Zumwalt.
Both Zumwalt and Kendricks came in there. And it looked like Zumwalt knocked it out initially, and then Kendricks finished the job. No running room again for Franklin. Baylor getting off blocks and making plays at the point of attack. It's Nick Johnson at JUCO. Well, 2nd down and 10.
It's going to be a challenge for UCLA to find their rhythm on offense, despite the fact that Baylor struggled so much defensively this year. When you have 3 new offensive linemen in new positions, it's very difficult to get that cohesiveness and blocking scheme right.
Officially a 1-yard loss, and now a pass. End zone open is Fourier. UCLA is on the board. Touchdown. Niber turned it over, and UCLA takes advantage. Its first points of the night.
You get a guy 6'7" running through the middle of the field who's caught 11 touchdowns. You might want to get a guy on him to cover him. The rotation was late from the safety, and that's an easy touchdown for UCLA.
12th receiving touchdown for Fourier, 2nd most in school history for a single season, behind J.J. Stokes, who had 18 one year. And the true freshman kicker, Fairbairn, puts it through.
UCLA needed a turnover to change momentum. Then a dart from Hundley to Fourier for the touchdown.
That's the record. Touchdown for UCLA after the turnover by Niber. 21-7 Baylor, 6:20 remaining. And after the great kickoff, it'll come out to the 25 for the Bears. Here's Reese Davis now in the studio.
Dave, college basketball game just ended on ESPN2. Cincinnati undefeated against New Mexico. Sean Kilpatrick down 1, gets it blocked. Shaq Muja makes it, but it was too late. After the horn, Bearcats lose for the first time. New Mexico by 1.
And here it's 21-7. Baylor on top of UCLA with Nick Florence back on the field. And Florence is thrown for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And most of that yardage came on 2 big plays against man-to-man coverage to his receivers on the outside, just running right by this UCLA defense. I do not expect to see a whole lot of man-to-man from UCLA the rest of the game.
Florence What a play that is, huh? Looked like he was going to run, then he dumps it off to Reese, and Reese out near the 40-yard line. We haven't seen that yet.
Well, it's a triple option. Basically, he can give the ball to Seastrunk, or he can keep it himself, and if they close, he flips it out. It's a very well-designed play that we see in college football quite a bit these days, and it's well executed by Nick Florence.
Florence looking downfield, gets hit, and may have just thrown that away. He was pressured by Dayton Jones. Just the way Baylor executes and operates it says a lot about their players. But again, Art Briles and his system, Philip Montgomery, the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, Montgomery doesn't get a whole lot of recognition for what he does, but he's been with Art Briles going all the way back to Stevensville High School in West Texas, and was with him at Houston. Has been with him now at Baylor for the entire 5 years, and is an outstanding coach in his own right, and probably at some point will get out from under the wing of Art Briles and get on his own.
Here's Seastrunk, finds a hole. Brought down by Sheldon Price, the corner, but a big gain. You know, think about it. Baylor started 4-8 the first 2 years that Briles and company were there, and got into a bowl game in 2010. First time in 16 years. Now it's 3 straight bowl games. First time in school history. Florence keeps, and going to be close. We'll see where they spot it. Eric Kendricks made the stop, and he'll be short, so it's 4th down. You move the ball, Brian. You've got the lead. What do you do?
Well, I think in this situation, you just had a momentum change. You know, you give a turnover and a quick score. And I think Art Briles, knowing him, I think he wants to take back the momentum. And he can only do that by keeping the football. He's going to go for it.
They gave him the first down. See if they review this further, or if Moore challenges it. Boy, it looked like he was short, but they gave him the first down. Here's an end around to Reese. And he runs out of play after picking up about 4 yards.
Well, I think you're right. I think they were fortunate to get that first down in that situation. Because just from up here, our vantage point looked like he came up a little bit short.
So 2nd down and 6 as Baylor is in UCLA territory again. Florence takes off, finds a running lane. And then that's going to be a penalty flag for targeting. Dalton Hilliard left his feet, went high on the quarterback who was trying to slide, and that's 15 yards. If you target the head.
Personal foul. Defense, number 19, targeting. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
They see you launch and you go for the head, they're going to throw the flag every time.
Well, and you come back to the discipline, right, of just knowing. Dalton Hilliard knows that, you know, when that quarterback starts to go down that way, you can't spear, and that's not how you want to play football. It's a terrible mistake by Dalton Hilliard.
Glasgow Martin inside the 10, touchdown. 2nd touchdown today for Martin.
Boy, UCLA cannot afford to make these kinds of mistakes. The 2nd touchdown drive, they had a penalty, give a first down. Here you have another penalty, and all of a sudden your defenders get tired, they're gassed, and then you get Glasgow Martin right up the middle, and it's an easy touchdown for Baylor.
45 penalty yards already. They average about 94, which is the most in the nation, and it's hurt them. They've had penalties that have led directly to first downs. You can do that against some teams and get away with it, but not against this offense.
Well, as good as UCLA has been this year, that's one area where Jim Mora is going to have to get it fixed going into next year, because you give guys like Seastrunk and Martin these kinds of holes, and they're going to make you pay.
Cincinnati and Duke, if you haven't seen it, wait till you see how it wrapped up in Charlotte. Matt Barkley's career was wrapped up with his game against UCLA. We'll tell you why the Trojan will not be able to play in the Sun Bowl, and a little perspective on his run there. And San Jose State, how they finished their great turnaround season. Best combo this side of chocolate and peanut butter on the Reese's Halftime Report. That's Mark May and Lou Holtz there with me.
All right, Ray's first down UCLA on the 14-yard line. They're going to run the ball, and another tackle for a loss. Franklin brought down by Terrence Lloyd. Loss of about 3. Brian, they're going to talk at halftime about Matt Barkley's tenure at USC. I want to get your thoughts. It didn't end well. He came back and didn't live up to expectations individually and also as a team.
Yeah, and Matt Barkley, obviously so much pressure coming into the season. Everybody had him as the #1 team in the country, and a lot of pressure sometimes can make a quarterback try to do too much. And I think that was kind of what happened to Matt Barkley this year, trying to do so much and trying to win games by himself, and it didn't work out for him.
Franklin brought down by Gary Mason. A lot of people are down on Barkley's NFL.
Listen, the bottom line is that Matt Barkley is going to get his opportunity in the NFL. And if Matt Barkley is good enough to play in the NFL, he will play in the NFL. He will get his chance. And so whether he's drafted in the first round, the first pick, or the last pick, doesn't really matter. He will get his shot.
3rd down and 13 as UCLA cannot run the ball. And now Hundley going deep and almost pulled in. Lucien got past Casey, but they could not complete the play, and it's 4th down, and they'll have to punt.
The ball was thrown perfectly from Hundley. This is Devin Lucien, who has just come back for this game, and he's got to lay out for that football.
Yeah.
I understand he hadn't played football since, I think, the Colorado game, which was the 2nd game in the Pac-12 schedule for UCLA. He's been out with an injury, but you'd love to see him dive with 2 hands to make that play.
Pass was there kind of short on to trying to get it with 1 hand. Norwood under the punt. And fair caught around the 44-yard line. Let's check in with Jen Brown down on the field.
Thanks, Dave. Well, some not good news for this UCLA offense. Center Jake Brendel was just carted back to the locker room with that left ankle we saw get rolled up. Based on his emotion and his body language, I'd say it doesn't look like he's going to be returning. Also, offensive tackle Torian White was just taken back to the locker room also with a left ankle injury. Hopefully at the half I'll have a little bit more update, but not good news for this offense that's trying to get something going.
No, and they've only got 95 yards. During that 4-game losing streak by Baylor, they were giving up over 500. But UCLA has not been able to move the ball. And they've had some gaudy numbers on offense. UCLA. But not happening tonight. 3:15 on the clock in the 2nd quarter. And a bad snap. And Florence picks it up and tries to make a play. And throws it away.
Heads up play. That's a great play by Nick Florence, and it's the 2nd time that we've seen a bad snap from Ivory Wade, the center. That one is not catchable by Nick Florence, but the presence of mind not to panic. Don't just fall on the ball. Pick it up with your 2 hands. Run outside the pocket so that you know you can throw the football away and not get a penalty.
Now instead of 2nd down and 25, it's 2nd and 10. UCLA can't give up another score. Timeout called by the Bruins.
LA, they're first.
And 3:08. That's like an entire quarter.
Well, their average TD drive is only 2 minutes.
Florence ducked under a defender. And then they finally get him down around the 47 for a gain of about 3. Eric Kendricks getting a workout today. He's had to run sideline to sideline every other play. So 3rd down and 7. Baylor 2 of 5 on 3rd down, and they've converted 3rd and long.
It's a blitz look here. All these guys up around the line of scrimmage. No safety.
And it's pulled in for a 1st down. Levi Norwood on the catch. So they convert 3rd and long again.
And that's just too easy. If you're going to play all-out blitz coverage, you got to get up and get in the receiver's face. Otherwise, just going to throw a slant and get a 1st down. So this UCLA defense is trying all kinds of different looks and pressures and man-to-man and all-out blitz and total zone. None of it has worked against Baylor's offense. And Nick Florence continues to impress.
Got 173 yards passing, and that's pretty good. As we'll show you, Seastrunk inside the 20, inside the 10, touchdown! 34 for Baylor. Nick Florence just set a record. And then Seastrunk right after that takes it 43 yards to the house.
Baylor is making a statement tonight. They came here, everybody talking about UCLA and the Pac-12, and is Baylor going to be able to hold up against the size of UCLA? And Baylor is now pouring it on and trying to make a statement in this football game.
Last year with RG3, they scored 67 points. This year with Nick Florence, they're on pace for 70.
Take a look at the interior blocking here. Let it roll, guys. It's just going to be a trap on the inside. Look at the patience of Seastrunk. Just lets it develop, and then the hole is wide open, and now you see the speed of Seastrunk. A lot of power inside the tackles from him in the lower body, but the thing that makes him so special is the speed on the second level.
And Seastrunk, who really has been a big part of this run by Baylor, getting an opportunity, averaging 139 yards the last 5 games. He's made the most of it. He's been a difference maker in this offense.
Well, everybody knew he had talent. He was one of the most highly recruited running backs coming out of high school 2 years ago. Went to Oregon, didn't work out. Lots been made of that. Comes back in red shirts last year, and then the beginning of this year, Art Briles didn't feel like he was ready to start playing. He owed the job to Salubi, the senior, but eventually talent is going to win out. And the talent that Seastrunk has shown this year, I think, has excited a lot of people in Waco about what the future holds for this team.
Well, he thinks his future is pretty bright as that kick goes out of bounds. Seastrunk this week said that he's going to win the Heisman next year. We didn't even get a chance to show what Nick Florence did because of that touchdown run by Seastrunk, and we'll show you in a moment. First, let's tell you about a great day of college football on Saturday with 5 games across ESPN and ESPN2. Bell Helicopter Armed Forces Bowl, New Era Pinstripe Bowl, Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl, Valera Alamo Bowl, and we'll close things out in Arizona with the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl, TCU and Michigan State. 158. And 2 timeouts to work with for UCLA. Hundley off play action going deep. And the pass nowhere near Shaq Evans. All right, now let's show you the accomplishment by Nick Florence. The fact that it's a new single season record. It breaks Robert Griffin III's mark that won him the Heisman last year.
Think that surprised anybody right there? I mean, you can't say enough about the kind of football player that Nick Florence is, and to stand in there and accomplish that, congratulations to him.
A 5th sack for Baylor. Chris McAllister gets him to the ground. It'll be 3rd down and long. McAllister has 2 sacks. They had 13 all year. They got 5 tonight. And Baylor calls a timeout because they want the ball back and score again.
I don't blame him. If I was Art Briles and things are going as well as they are right now, I would call a timeout too, because anytime I get the football, I think I'm going to score.
All right, you just said Baylor made a statement. Nick Florence is gone. So this is the last game that Florence will play for Baylor. And in talking with Art Briles, we asked him who's next, and he wasn't sure. But the way things are going, they got to find somebody, because they got pieces around them that are coming back. And obviously on defense, they're getting better.
Well, the way that this offense is playing, I might come out of retirement if I have another year of eligibility.
Yeah.
I would love to play in this offense with Seastrunk and with some of the players that they have on the outside coming back. You just have to manage this offense. And that's what Nick Florence has done so well as a point guard, distributing the football, making quick decisions, throwing the ball accurately, and letting these guys make plays.
By the way, congratulations. Being inducted into the Rose Bowl Hall of Fame.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I'm coming back for another year.
No, that's why you can't come back. But congratulations to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to spending some time in Pasadena, and it's one of my favorite places on earth. And it's a great honor, not for me, but for our team at Michigan.
Won the national title there at Michigan as Hundley in 3rd and 13 throws underneath. Evans went down, took a knee, and so it's 4th down. And UCLA now getting frustrated. Little extracurricular activity. Baylor was going to call another timeout. The officials, I think, stopped the clock.
It's getting a little chippy out there, and I would be upset too. As Shaq Evans, you know, your team is down 35-7. This is not the way that you anticipated this ball game going, but you're not going to get back in this football game by swatting at somebody or throwing a punch. You're going to get back by doing the little things and the effort.
Second. It'll be 30 seconds.
So now Baylor calls its second timeout. Well, we're talking about the Rose Bowl and what you accomplished, even with the eye black. You made it popular. Brady decided to do it after you. Look at you get off the ground there. You had to have been jumping on top of somebody. No way you had that vertical. And there's you and Lloyd Carr. You look the same. Lloyd looks the same.
He would appreciate you saying that. I don't know if I look the same, but I'll tell you what, it was a special time, and that's what's so great about the college football, and I can't wait to get back to the Rose Bowl.
That was the 1998 Rose Bowl when you beat Washington State 21-18. You threw 3 touchdowns, 251 yards.
That's the first
Here's
half
a fake for UCLA on 4th down and 8. Jeff Lott gets the first down. Or does he? Boy, it looked like he got it, but the spot not favorable. Chance Casey made the tackle. It's ruled the first down, and they had to do that, right?
Yeah, they had to. And I'm surprised that Baylor wasn't anticipating this, but Jeff Locke is an outstanding punter, and they had the numbers right. You get those numbers right, and you get those guys out on the outside, and if your punter has any speed at all, he'll get that first down. Great play.
I think they're going to look at this further. The spot didn't seem to be very good. It looked like he got past the 45-yard line. It's where the ball is when the knee goes down. They're not going to look at it any further. It is a first down. It looked like some of the coaches for UCLA were like, get up there and snap it quickly.
Now, you're UCLA. You got to take advantage of this. You're Brett Hundley. You have got to take advantage of that.
2 timeouts, just over a minute to work with. And the pass pulled in by Evans, who dove at the 48. Clock running.
Throw that ball accurately in the face mask of Shaq Evans, and he might have been able to run for 10 or 15 more yards.
UCLA had some time management issues against Stanford in the Pac-12 title game at the second half. Let's see how they handle this. Oh, great play to break up the pass. Joe Williams. It was a long throw from the far hash mark to Jerry Johnson. Williams knocked it down.
Oh, great break by Williams. Nice job not getting the hand on Jerry Johnson and just coming in with the left hand and batting it away.
So 3rd and 4. In Baylor territory. Still 2 timeouts remaining. Here's Evans. And trying to drag a defender with him. Casey on the stop. It's 4th down. Now UCLA doesn't have to run a play. They're going to call a timeout here for their 4th down play. If they don't get it, Baylor still got 30 seconds left and the ball around midfield. Now, speaking of the Rose Bowl, the 2013 Rose Bowl game presented by Vizio features Wisconsin for the 3rd straight year. See if they can win it. They lost to TCU 2 years ago, Oregon last year. They get Stanford. Coverage starts 4:30 New Year's Day on ESPN. What a year for David Shaw and Stanford after Andrew Luck leaves, and you still take your team to the granddaddy of them all.
And you go back to that Notre Dame game, right, in South Bend, and they could have easily won that football game. If they win that game, how much of this has changed, you know? And so David Shaw is, in my mind, one of the top 5 coaches in all of college football, and it's been very impressive what he's been able to accomplish. And that game is going to be one of those old-fashioned physical knockdown drag-out games.
Barry Alvarez coaching the game.
What a great opportunity to go up there and watch that game with Barry Alvarez for just one more game.
4th down and 2 for UCLA. Hundley throws complete. 1st down. The clock will stop. Reset the ball. Jerry Johnson on the grab. Bruins still have a timeout. And they'll spike it So 26 seconds left, and it's second down. They were lined up. Do you snap it and run the play? Did you just waste it down there?
Well, in this situation, we talked with Jim Mora about this yesterday. He feels like time is more precious than the downs in these situations, and I agree with him, because at this point in the game, if I'm UCLA, I want to score a touchdown, and I need opportunities to do that. I need time, so preserve it.
Going for Fourier. Looping catch inside the 10. Or Johnson, excuse me. Jerry Johnson, great catch down at the 12-yard line. 21 seconds left. They'll get up there and spike it.
I would spike it again, yeah. And I think that's absolutely the right call. In this situation, you are not playing for a field goal. You're down 35-7. You need to push the ball down the field and get it to your playmakers. And Jerry Johnson makes a great catch and good concentration. Now you've got 3 shots at the end zone and a timeout.
20 seconds left as well. From the 12, pressure coming up the middle. Hundley throws it away. Ahmad Dixon had pressure on Hundley. Second down with 16 seconds left.
Well, Baylor brought it all-out blitz on second down. If I'm Noel Mazzoni, offensive coordinator, I'm going to anticipate that again. And what I'm going to try to find is my big tight end right here, Fourier. Look for him to get matched up in the end zone. Coming again.
Hundley, end zone, Fourier, broken up. Hall on the coverage. Don't know if he pulled it in, whether he would have been in bounds, and now it's fourth down.
They had what they wanted, all-out blitz, and they got it up in the air to Fourier, and he has made this catch on a consistent basis. He had 1 foot down. If he would have caught that football, it would have been a touchdown.
All right, fourth down. Do you take the points here? It's 35-7, or do you say you have to get a touchdown?
I'm going for a touchdown. I'm not here to kick field goals at this juncture of the game. You need points. You need 7.
Baylor calls a timeout. Again, they wasted the down. They got down there. They were lined up. But you agree with that. Instead of trying to run a play, you agree with them spiking it, even though
yes,
if you didn't, it'd be third down here.
Yeah, no, I do, because I think in this situation you want to get 3 really good plays, and you had 2 good plays there. You had a perfect call to Fourier to go up and get that, and now you have a timeout to talk it over. You're going to have your 3rd shot, and if you don't make it here, then you don't deserve to get a touchdown.
And you'd have to think the way Baylor's defense is playing, that if they don't get it here, they're not going to score 28 points and shut out Baylor in the second half.
Well, just after we say all that, it looks like they're going to attempt a field goal. Shows how much we know, huh?
Again, if you don't get it, if you get no points, do you really have any chance of winning? I mean, you're going to score at least 28 and hold Baylor to nothing in the second half. At least this way you get a little momentum going into the locker room.
Well, psychologically, I think that's probably where Jim Mora is just get something positive going in at halftime.
And the fans here don't like it. Fairbairn, 30-yard try. So 35-10. Baylor with 7 seconds remaining. Now, Baylor's defense has been the story. Even though their offense has 35 points, giving up just 148 yards and now 10 points in this game. But the rush defense, only 26 yards to Jonathan Franklin, who was 1,700 coming in.
And I think, you got to see the whole picture there. It's not all on Jonathan Franklin. It is about this offensive line having some significant injuries. 3 new guys moved around up front, and it's been tough. And this UCLA team has been relatively healthy throughout the course of the season, and the injury bug has hit them at specifically that position on the offensive line tonight. I'll go back to that decision to not go for it on 4th down. The only reason I would go for it in that situation is because you know what Baylor is going to do defensively. The last two snaps, they brought all-out pressure. And if I knew what a defense was going to do, I always felt like I had an advantage. And I would go right back to Fourier and throw that pop fly once more, and maybe he comes down with it.
Question is, would Baylor on 4th down and 10, would they have done the same thing defensively? Would they have come after him?
They did it on 2nd down. They did it on 3rd down. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't do it on 4th down.
So Baylor will have the ball on its 25-yard line. We'll see if they'll take a knee and end the half, or try to see if they can get a big play and catch UCLA napping. It's happened. We've seen it happen already.
Baylor has 9 touchdown drives of 1 play.
Yeah.
So, as long as there's time on the clock, I'd throw it.
No, I think they're going to take a knee. The way. Yep, and Florence will end the half. Florence threw for 174 yards and 2 touchdowns. He breaks Robert Griffin III's record single-season passing yards. He did in the first half. We thought he might do it by Reese's perfect play. Just 11 attempts by Nick Florence, but 174 yards and 2 touchdowns. A new single-season passing record-breaking RG3's mark. Short kickoff. And it's Kendricks for UCLA out to the 31. Let's check in with Jen.
Thanks, Dave. Well, I spoke with Jim Mora out of the half. Before I even had a chance to ask a question, the first thing he said is we're running out of linebackers and defensive backs. But joking aside, he said, look, my message to the team was simple. I told him about a playoff game when I was in San Francisco. We were down by 28 at the half. We came back and won the game. He says it's a wild game. Anything can happen. We need to run better. We need to tackle better. But if these guys play together like they know how to, we can come back.
Well, Baylor defensively was outstanding in that first half with 5 sacks, and they shut down the run game. They're going to let Hundley run the football and see if they can have some success, and he gets close to 10 yards. In that first half, Jonathan Franklin rushing the ball was held to 26 yards, and Hundley didn't carry it at all. Trying to get him involved in the run game now.
Well, I think if they're going to get back in this game, they've got to take it to this defensive line in a physical nature up front. I know they've got some injuries, but they're bigger. They need to take it to them.
Here's Fuller out on the flat, and minimal gain there on first down, brought down by Sam Hall.
And the other thing is, don't underestimate the importance of this first drive. You're down 4 scores right now, 25 points. You need to get points on this drive if you're going to come back in the second half.
Another short throw by Hundley, going for Jerry Johnson, and out of bounds right at the first down marker. Chance Casey on the coverage. It is a first down for UCLA.
And that's a good sign. Brett Hundley was knocked around in the first half. We talked about the 5 sacks. Come out, get a first down, throw the ball accurately, and get a little bit of momentum.
No running room again for Jonathan Franklin. It's Eddie Lackey on the stop, minimal gain. Franklin had 20 net rushing yards in the first half, so just around 2 yards per carry. UCLA, even though only 10 points right now, they can score. I mean, they put up 66 on Arizona. They had 3 other games, make that 4 other games, and they were over 40.
Right, yeah, Arizona State. They beat Washington State. They scored 38 on USC, so there's no question that they have the talent. The question is, can they protect up front?
Yeah, they've lost 2 of their offensive linemen to injury. That pass juggled and incomplete, intended for Jordan James, so now they're in 3rd and long again. And they've struggled on 3rd down today, just 1 of 10.
Well, and after that second down play, Jonathan Franklin came off the field and looked a little bit gimpy, and he is not out on the field on this 3rd down. Jordan James is in the backfield.
And he was, James was the intended receiver on that last play. Here's 3rd and 9. Hundley has a man, but it's incomplete. Shaq Evans couldn't hang on. Joe Williams on the coverage, and UCLA will go for it.
It was a great read. They got man-to-man coverage, exactly what they wanted, to their best receiver, Shaq Evans. The ball is perfectly thrown, and he just drops it. And these are the kinds of things that you worry about as a coach, seeing in bowl games, and lack of attention to detail. And you've got to go for it here on 4th down.
4th and 9. They bring the blitz, and the pass deflected and incomplete, and Baylor will take over on downs. Sam Hall broke it up, and based on how deep that route was run, even if he completed the pass, he would have been short.
Well, it was an all-out blitz, so the ball had to come out, and you can't blame Brett Hundley. It's just a good play defensively. Give credit to Hall. Give credit to Phil Bennett. Give credit to this entire Baylor defense. They are bringing pressure on a lot of these plays and having success.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned, making tires that go the distance, inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. So UCLA had to go on 4th down, but by not converting, Baylor gets the ball at midfield. Florence in trouble and squashed back at the 44-yard line.
Let's hear it.
Dayton Jones and Odigizua. I made you wait a little bit.
Wait for it. He is a heck of a football player. I mean, he's made plays consistently all year. He's made plays in this game, and you know, he's a young player. He's got 2 more years left, so he can make a lot more plays for UCLA on the defensive side of the ball.
We've only talked about Anthony Barr a couple times, the nation's leader in sacks. He did get one where it was pretty easy. It was a bad snap. The ball was rolling around 15 yards in the backfield, and made a play in the run game as well. Seastrunk trying to pick a hole. He gets hammered. The safety, Randall Goforth, comes in. Zumwalt, the linebacker, had him low. I think it's back to the original line of scrimmage on that play. 3rd down and long coming up. Florence yet to throw here in the quarter. As looked like Kendricks was coming, and maybe Zumwalt as well. The 2 linebackers up the middle. And the only rush 4. Florence steps up and takes off. And down well short of the marker. Kendricks chases him down. It's 4th down. We'll see if Baylor goes for it here. 4th and about 6. Or if they punt it away with a healthy lead.
Jim Mora and Lou Spanos, the defensive coordinator for UCLA, are very proud guys. Great coaches, been in the NFL for a long time. They were embarrassed in the first half, giving up 35 points. I don't care if it's Baylor or if it's the San Francisco 49ers. They're embarrassed. They're going to come out with a game plan in the second half and make some adjustments. And that was a great example of a disguise and blitz and pressure that fooled Baylor.
Roth punting. Evans will let it go, and it sails into the end zone. So UCLA will start on the 20. The only time they got a touchdown was when they had the ball in the short field after a Baylor
game. How many points can Georgia score? Georgia's offense is very explosive.
UCLA down 25. 1st and 10. Hundley with time. Everybody covered. And now Shaq Evans comes open and makes the catch.
Well, we said it on the last drive. We felt like UCLA needed to get some points. You know, Jim Mora gave the speech at halftime about coming back. If you're going to do that, you've got to get some early points in the second half.
9-yard gain. Franklin back on the field, and that's his best run of the day. Out near the 39-yard line. Stood up by Lackey. But about 10 yards on the ground there for Franklin.
And I would speed up the tempo and the pace on offense if I were UCLA. Try to get something going.
Hundley throwing to the flat to the freshman Walker, and what a hit. Chance Casey, corner physical tackle. Gain of about 4 on the play.
Well, if nothing else, Baylor has come into this game and played hard with aggressive nature and ill intent. Everybody's telling them for a month how bad they are on defense, 119th in the country, and they've come out and played with attitude in this game.
Hundley, a couple of pump fakes, and got him in. Shaq Evans on the catch. Good throw by the quarterback, Hundley, and UCLA is inside the Baylor 35.
Just a double move on the outside. They've thrown a lot of these short routes to Shaq Evans. You see the pump fake? And then the arm strength on the outside for Brett Hundley to put that ball on the line before the safety can make the play.
And they gave him time to throw that too. Remember, you got backups at a couple of positions. You got Baca playing center. He's played guard and tackle already today. Quick throw to Evans, who breaks a tackle and gets the first down to the 22. Simon Goins is back in the game despite a knee injury at right tackle, so at least he's out there, but their left tackle and starting center are down for the rest of the game.
Two guys need to touch the football. Jonathan Franklin and Shaq Evans on this drive. That's the only two guys I'd give it to.
Hundley in trouble and spun down for a sack. It's Mason. Sixth sack for Baylor. They had 13 during the regular season.
Well, the pressure has been the way that they've gotten to Brett Hundley. This time they bring it again, both linebackers, and a new offensive lineman in Downey, the left guard, lets the defensive lineman go to block the linebacker. That's a cardinal sin for an offensive lineman and an easy sack.
Second and 19 after the 9-yard loss.
Here comes the blitz again, right here. These three guys coming out. You got to make the audible as a quarterback.
There they come, and Hundley finds an open Fuller. And he gets back to the original line of scrimmage, but you're in third and long again.
And if you're going to do that, if you're going to bring that pressure, you've got to have confidence in your ability to tackle on the outside, because if they break one tackle, it's a house call. And so far, Baylor has been able to get these guys on the ground.
Third and 11. 4-out territory for UCLA. Pressure coming, and pass toward the end zone, incomplete, overthrown. McAllister had some pressure, and I don't know if Hundley sensed that, threw it over Fuller's head.
Again, all-out pressure, man-to-man across the board, and Hundley makes the right read. That's where you want to go on the corner route. He just throws it a little bit too far. If you're going to miss, err on the side of being short and give your receiver a chance to go back up and catch that ball or get a pass interference.
I thought 4-down territory, but with 4th and 11, you try the field goal, 40 yards, try to make it a 3-possession game. And the true freshman, Kaimi Fairbairn, puts it through. On January 1st, like Tirico and John Gruden, we'll be in Pasadena for the Rose Bowl on ESPN Radio. Goodley and Darius Jones are deep. And we'll come out to the 25 for Baylor. Robert Griffin III won the Heisman Trophy last year. He's now a Pro Bowl quarterback for the Washington Redskins, who are playing for a division championship against the Cowboys. His replacement, Nick Florence, a senior who actually started 7 games in 2009 when RG3 was hurt. He also has a pretty good running back, Blake Seastrunk, averaging over 7 yards a carry on the season. And Baylor with 35 first-half points. 77 yards for Seastrunk in this game. 174 passing yards for Florence and 2 touchdowns. Only had 11 pass plays. They've run the ball 35 times in this game. Here's 36. Florence. And he gets walloped at the 30-yard line by Eric Kendricks.
Well, that's a tough way to make a living on the inside right there. Nick Florence keeps that ball and takes a big hit, and it's the last game for Nick Florence in his college career, and to go out in this kind of fashion, I think he's laying it all out on the field, throwing the football, running. He is not sliding. He is playing one heck of a game.
Here's Seastrunk trying to get outside. He'll come up just short of the first down. Dalton Hilliard tracks him down. A big third down here for UCLA's defense. After kicking a field goal to make it a 3-possession game, technically down 22, they're going to run Glasgow Martin, and with the second effort, he gets the first down. Now, UCLA's strength on defense is its front, and Baylor's offensive line's blowing them off the ball.
Well, I think Glasgow Martin at 220 pounds has something to do with it as well. He's a much bigger back than Seastrunk, who goes around 200 pounds, but you get him inside the tackles, and he is hard to bring down. He's their short yardage back, and he's gotten stronger as this game has gone on. And just a junior, I think that 1-2 combination of Seastrunk and Martin, you're going to see a lot of that again next year.
Here's Martin. He gets dropped after a gain of about 1. You mentioned Martin and Seastrunk. What did you make of Seastrunk's comments announcing not only his candidacy for the Heisman Trophy, but pronouncing that he's winning?
I think you got to take it in some context. I mean, we talked with Art Briles, head coach, yesterday about it, and he didn't think it was a big deal. I happen to think it is a big deal, and sometimes you make mistakes. And I think if you ask Lake tonight about those comments, he would say probably I would take those back. But you can't take them back, and as they may complete a pass on the outside.
Why is it a big deal?
It's a big deal because it's a team game, and Lake Seastrunk has come on like wildfire, and there's so much potential for him, but he's only played 6 games, and everybody on that team is watching how he reacts to success, and that's not the way you want to send a message to your teammates.
This time Martin's second effort won't get him the first down. That'll be 4th down and 1.
That it's about him. It's not about everybody. And that's the kind of message that can become a cancer. And so that's why it's a big deal.
It is the antithesis of how Robert Griffin III handled it. All RG3 did was praise his teammates, his coach, as Cassius Marsh is shaken up. Here's the quote from Seastrunk this week. According to the Sporting News, I'm going to win the Heisman. I'm going to win it in 2013. If I don't, I'm going to get very close. I'm shooting for that goal. I will gladly say it.
It's great to shoot for the goal, but it's not okay to say it. It's just not the time and place. And I think that Lake Seastrunk is going to be a heck of a football player at Baylor and potentially at the next level. Who knows? But he's got some learning to do with respect to how he interacts with his team, how he portrays himself, how he portrays the University of Baylor.
And how do opposing teams look at it? I got to imagine that's a little motivation for opposing defenses.
Yeah, but that doesn't concern me as much as how it's viewed on the inside of that locker room at Baylor. I mean, to me, that's the thing. If I were Art Briles, I would make sure I got a handle on that. And I guarantee you Art Briles sat him down and said, look, this is not the way that we communicate.
Briles actually took responsibility for the quote, said, you know what, I should have been there with him when he did the interview to keep him from making a comment like that, to put himself in a precarious spot. They punt it on 4th and 1. Evans will scoop it up and take off. Evans across the 30. Stiff arming at the 35. And finally, the punter, Spencer Roth, with the big hit, but UCLA is at the Baylor 41 after a 43-yard return.
You're right. The punter, Roth, was the only guy left, and he had a friend. His only friend was the sideline, and so he finally got Shaq Evans out and prevented a touchdown.
UCLA down 22, and a big here in San Diego. UCLA down 22 points. 4:51 left in the third. Big possession here. Hundley on 1st and 10 throws it into the ground. There was a receiver in the area. Chris McAllister had pressure. So that's tomorrow at 2 Eastern on ESPN. Louisiana, Monroe, and Ohio.
That was the first screen that we have seen called by UCLA on offense. Typically, Jonathan Franklin gets a lot of those looks, but well defended by his Baylor defense.
Hundley gets rid of the pass as McAllister hit him, and it was low. Intended for Jordan Payton, so it's 3rd down and 10.
Right. Part of the reason why we're seeing Baylor bring so much pressure, which has been uncharacteristic for them this year, is they see how many changes have happened on the offensive line. And when you have new offensive line, you want to pressure them to see if they can make adjustments. And so far, UCLA has really struggled to pick up these pressures.
UCLA overall is 1 of 12 on 3rd down, and 10 of those 12 third downs have been 3rd and 8 or longer. Hundley, and Broken up by McAllister, so he didn't rush that time. He dropped into coverage and made the play on the pass intended for Peyton. It's 4th down and 10, and UCLA will go for it.
Yeah, and Baylor is one step ahead. This time they don't blitz, and so they drop McAllister out, and he's right underneath the easy throw from UCLA. And I think it's just they have the number right now, and they're anticipating. And again, here on 4th down, expect pressure.
Now they've converted 2 out of 4 4th downs. 4th and 10. Here comes McAllister again. Hundley throwing deep and broken up. Incomplete. Baylor takes over on downs. It was a linebacker, Dixon, in coverage on Devin Fuller.
Ahmad Dixon has made so many plays for Baylor this year at the linebacker position. They got the matchup that they wanted. Fuller on Dixon. Dixon can run, but again, pressure from McAllister forces the throw, and you know, you just can't have a back blocking a defensive end and try to throw a deep route. And again, I give credit to Phil Bennett, defensive coordinator. He has had the number of Noah Mazzoni all night.
So 3 times tonight, UCLA has turned it over on downs. You thought after that great punt return, the ball at the 41-yard line, they could at least move the football and get into field goal range, but they didn't even get a yard. Baylor takes over, 4:36 on the clock. They have not scored yet in the quarter. That's saying something given what they did in the first half. Here's Seastrunk, and he gets run out of play after a gain of about 2. It's Randall Goforth. He's replacing Tevin McDonald. Jim Moore had to suspend McDonald because of a violation of team rules, and McDonald, a guy that is a key player in the secondary for UCLA, not available tonight.
They like Goforth, though. He's going to be a good player.
Seastrunk first down and more, breaks tackle inside the 30. And then finally brought down inside the 20-yard line by Aaron Hester. Hard to tell if that was a horse collar or not. Seastrunk appears to be okay, though.
He's got such good patience for a young back, and then the explosion. You know, typically you don't see guys with that kind of power in their lower body that has that kind of acceleration and vision and patience. He's just really a unique back and a nice blocking scheme in the middle by Baylor's offensive line.
39-yard run. Baylor moving the ball again. Here's Glasgow Martin. Huge hole. And says to a defender, get out of my way. Inside the 10 down to the 6-yard line. 1st and goal, Baylor. They got some really good backs. Glasgow Martin, 6'1", 220. He's got a couple of touchdowns in this one, 14 on the year. Seastrunk has got 121 yards and a score in this game. Here's Martin inside the 5 and brought down at the 3. Jordan Zumwalt in there.
Well, you got to believe with the way that Terrence Ganaway played a year ago, the way that Martin and Seastrunk are playing this year, that there's a lot of eyeballs in the state of Texas that are good running backs in high school watching this offense saying, hey, this is not just a pass-happy offense. I can go play in this kind of an offense in my own state and have tremendous success. And I think the needle is tipping way in a positive direction for Baylor.
Here's Martin. And he's to the 1, brought down by Kendricks. And, you know, we asked Art Briles yesterday, why did you stay? He had opportunities to go elsewhere. He said, because they're committed. They're committed to the football program, the money spent, the new stadium that's going up.
Yep.
And it's paying off with recruiting. I mean, they're now in the top 25, top 30. And you would have to think it's going to keep getting better if they have games like this.
And he says, you know, we're going to have an on-campus stadium in 2014 with an indoor facility, $300 million invested, and that's what we need.
Here's Martin, and it's going to be close. They haven't signaled yet. He's going to be down. It'll be 4th down. Let's see if Baylor just punches it in here on 4th and goal or decides to take the points and get it back to a 4-possession game.
I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, what did Art Briles say going into halftime up 35-7? He said, we come here with a lot to prove. This is a great opportunity for us to make a statement.
The previous plays under further review.
Well, they're going to review whether he got in, but I wouldn't be surprised if we just decide to go for it if they don't get a touchdown here.
Now keep an eye on the ball here.
Oh, it looks like it crossed the line there. It looked like it broke the plane.
It did. Let's see if his knee's down or forearm or something. And again, the ruling on the field is no touchdown. So it has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn it.
You can't tell whether the knee's down. The ball definitely breaks the plane. Definitely breaks the plane. The question is his knee down? And we can't see from that angle. But we know there's no elbow, no forearm or any of that was down before the ball crosses the plane. But
and is the lower leg down? Let's see here. See right there, hard to tell even if his left leg was down before the ball crossed. So without video evidence, I don't know if you could overturn it.
From what we're seeing, I don't think that you can overturn that call. And again, we see this week in and week out. When you get these plays down on the goal line with so many bodies around, it's hard to see the entire body, to see ball across the plane, knees down, forearms. It's just hard to confirm or deny these kinds of plays.
You have to be 100% certain to overturn the ruling on the field. But I'm with you on going forward on 4th down.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that that Art Briles came here not just to have a good time and play in the Holiday Bowl. He came here to make a statement. And the first half, certainly he accomplished that. And I don't think that he's going to take his foot off the gas pedal at all.
You know, the last 2 years they played bowl games in Texas, which was great for the fans, but now getting an opportunity to play a bowl game in California might help recruiting.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. 4th down.
So again, they didn't have enough video evidence to overturn it, so that's why the announcement that the ruling on the field stands, and Baylor is going to go on 4th down and goal from just inside the 1.
Well, if I was Baylor, I've got a left guard and Cyril Richardson who's 335 pounds, and I got Glasgow Martin at 220. I'd run right behind the left guard.
Here's Martin. He's in. Touchdown Baylor. That's 3 tonight for Glasgow Martin. And then, Palmer just hit a UCLA player, Anthony Barr, with his helmet off in the face. I don't know if the officials saw that. Anthony Barr had his helmet off. Looked like he may have thrown a punch. And then Kevin Palmer took a swing at Anthony Barr. No penalty flags were thrown. 3rd touchdown for Glasgow Martin. Now 15 rushing scores on the season.
Boy, what an impressive drive that was. Everybody talks about this up-pace, high-tempo, spread it out, use every inch of grass offense, and that was just smash mouth right at the middle.
Point after makes it 42-13 Baylor. Take a look back at our Buick Drive recap. 2 big run plays on that drive, and that's really been the story. 47 out of the 59 plays for Baylor have been rushing plays. This is Seastrunk, 39-yard scamper. And then Glasgow Martin here. And then Martin from 1 yard out on 4th down and goal gets his 3rd touchdown.
I mean, we haven't heard a whole lot about Glasgow Martin this season, and I think from what I've seen tonight, he's a dynamic player. Catching the ball in the backfield, he can run in between the tackles. This has been a very impressive offensive performance. We knew that Baylor's offense was going to be dynamic and that they were going to be explosive. I just didn't realize how physical they are on the offensive line and with those 2 backs.
A lot of times in bowl games, you get a sense that, maybe there's one team that isn't real excited about being there because they thought they should be in a better bowl. But with these 2 teams, given that it's Jim Mora's first year and Baylor's history, they're pretty happy to be in the Holiday Bowl. So you see the score, you see how Baylor's dominated, and big picture, does it make you wonder about the Pac-12 at all?
Well, certainly UCLA had a lot of success in the Pac-12. They beat some good teams, Arizona State, Arizona, USC. You know, they lost to California. They lost 2 games, obviously, at the end of Stanford, who I think was the class of the Pac-12. But certainly it raises some eyebrows.
Here's Manfro. Gets a huge block. And brought down to the 26-yard line. The Discover Orange Bowl is on ESPN New Year's night. Jordan Lynch, one of your favorite players, I know, in college football in 2012, leads Northern Illinois to Miami to face Florida State. That's New Year's night at 8:30. You can also see it live on the Watch ESPN app and listen to it on ESPN Radio.
I think Jordan Lynch is one of the toughest players in all of college football. And I can't wait to see him go up against that Florida State defense and Bjorn Warner and company.
Out on the flat to Fuller, and he's brought down to the 29-yard line. What was your reaction when you heard that Northern Illinois was playing in a BCS game?
I don't think they deserve to be there. I mean, that's my honest opinion. There are other teams that I think deserve to be there if we want to have the best teams playing in the best bowl games, which I think is the way it should be. But I understand all the decisions that go into it, but that's my own personal opinion.
2nd and 7. And out of the flat to Franklin, trying to get him involved in some way, shape, or form. And he's out to the 33.
And that's not to take anything away from Northern Illinois. They had a great year, right? So,
well, one of the main problems with the system is that only 2 teams from a conference can play in the BCS. Otherwise, you're going to have a 3rd SEC team or a 3rd Big 12 team. 3rd down and 4. And that play was blown up from the beginning. Jordan James, as soon as he got the handoff, was brought down by Hager and Lackey, who were waiting for the handoff in the backfield. It's 4th down.
Well, I think Hundley actually saw the blitz and wanted to keep the ball. Let's take a look. He's trying to pull this ball out, and Jordan James takes it from him right there. Yeah. Hundley wanted to keep that ball and run around the outside, and there was a miscommunication with James.
So UCLA has to punt, 4th and 7, and the fair catch made by Levi Norwood at the 27-yard line.
And, you know, you got to remember that this is the first year that Brett Hundley is playing in this system. He's a redshirt freshman. He's got a new offense with Noel Mazzoni, you see he's talking to there. And there's a learning period. And so he's had some success, but you can't forget that he's a redshirt freshman.
But it's his 14th game, and he played great during the regular season. So, I mean, is he really still considered a freshman?
Well, and then when you put on top of that they have had these injuries up front, and when you don't have consistency up front, all the pressure comes on the quarterback because you're going to get blitzed. And if you can't block them, there's not a whole lot you can do at the quarterback position.
And they lost 2 offensive linemen, 2 of their starters tonight. A 3rd was banged up coming into the game. A 4th has been sick all week. And he hasn't been able to get a running game going either, which hasn't helped. Here's Florence, and he gets chased down by Kendricks at the 30-yard line. Gain of a couple there.
And Nick Florence is getting up a little ginger. I mean, you wonder about the competitive nature of Nick Florence. Just look at the back of his jersey. I mean, he is not going to go down without a fight. And he knows this is his last game. And I've been very impressed with. I knew he was a good player. I just didn't know what a great.
The Bridgepoint Education Holiday Bowl. And now 42-13 is the score. Here's Nyber. And he's out near the 1st down. We'll see where they spot him. Going to be short. So 3rd down and 1. Nyber had a fumble in the first half that led to UCLA's only touchdown. So 3rd down and 1. They'll give it to the big Glasgow Martin, and good job by Dayton Jones to make a play, force the fumble after driving a lineman back into the tailback, and UCLA recovers.
Martin slipped. It looked like he was trying to make a move. He slipped, and then he ran right in the back of his offensive lineman, and that's what the leg of the offensive lineman is what forced that fumble. And you're right, Dayton Jones was pushing that lineman back, but A big turnover for UCLA, but is it too little, too late?
Odighizuwa with the recovery. How about that? And Baylor's -2 in turnover ratio and leading 42-13. First down for UCLA at the Baylor 35. And Franklin again in the backfield, met by 2 defenders. UCLA cannot block Baylor right now.
It's been a struggle, and the combination of the injuries up front and the pressure from Baylor defensively has been the difference, frankly, in this football game.
30 yards on 12 carries for a guy in Jonathan Franklin who averages 131 rushing yards per game, good for 9th in the nation. In the Pac-12 title game against Stanford, he ran for almost 200. Hundley fumbles the snap, has to fall on the ground. So 3rd down and long.
Boy, it's turned into a comedy of errors for UCLA. That time they had a perfect play called against the blitz. All Hundley had to do was catch the ball and flip it out to his back, and they may have had a big play, and you can't take the quarterback center exchange. Very disappointing, I know, for Jim Moore, Noah Mazzoni, and the coaching staff for UCLA to finish the year this way.
Overall, they are 1 of 14 on 3rd down. They've been in 3rd and long all night. 3rd and 14 here, and the play clock is at 4. Comes that blitz again up the middle. Hundley throws complete. Going to be short of the 1st down, but UCLA will go for it on 4th. Kenneth Walker in traffic made the catch. There's a Baylor player, Josh Wilson, a backup safety. He's shaken up.
And it's the first time that they've actually handled this pressure. You see, the inside slant is a great way to beat all-out pressure. It's an easy throw. You throw it over the blitzing linebackers, and you might break a tackle and make a big play. That time they get him on the ground, but it brings up a 4th and short.
Now Wilson helped up. 4th down and 2 coming up.
And if you're Noel Mazzoni right now, you're telling your young quarterback, look, keep pulling the trigger. You got to grow from this situation. You're going to be in these kinds of games sometimes where you get punched in the mouth, and everybody on the team is going to see how you react.
Hundley's thrown the ball 43 times. We haven't seen many quarterback runs in this game. 4th down and 2. And they're going to hand it off to Franklin, and he gets the 1st down.
That was a good read right there by Brett Hundley. A young quarterback, diagnosed, no pressure. Instead of throwing the football on the outside, he gives it to Jonathan Franklin, knowing that there's no blitz, and they get a 1st down.
So that's a read. That's not design.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ball on the 24. Play action. Hundley forced to move right. Got a wide open Shaq Evans for the touchdown. Evans got behind Chance Casey, and Hundley put him on him.
Keep fighting, keep believing, keep competing. That's what Brett Hundley has to do to be a leader for UCLA going forward. A little slight movement in the pocket, finds an open Shaq Evans, and everybody throughout the entire offseason, no matter how this game ends, in UCLA Nation is going to see and watch how Brett Hundley reacts in this 4th quarter.
UCLA going for 2, trying to make it 42-21. 12:25 remaining. It's only the 3rd time this year they've gone for 2. Hundley. And he was going for Jerry Johnson, well covered by Chance Casey, so no conversion. Now both touchdowns for UCLA tonight have come on the short field after Baylor turnovers. Hundley's 2nd touchdown pass of the game. By block, you would imagine an onside attempt. Score 42-19. Some odd spin on it there, but it's recovered by Baylor's Clay Fuller. Well, last year, Chris Spielman was ready to come out of his shorts, and he literally was wearing shorts in the booth. 777 yards of total offense by one team. FBS bowl record. It was the highest scoring regulation bowl game in history between Washington and Baylor.
When you put those two stats up there, it looks like that Baylor had a terrible night tonight.
And again, most of the damage was done at halftime. They didn't take their foot off the acceleration, but you haven't seen the big plays. They haven't been as dynamic here in the second half, and they haven't needed to be. I mean, they've run the ball 49 times. They've only thrown 13. RG3 was throwing it all over the park in the Alamo Bowl last year. Here's Seastrunk. Oh, what a great move in the hole that he made. Finally brought down right at the first down marker. Randall go for it. This is what you're talking about with this kid's skill level.
Low to the ground. He's got great vision. Watch this cut. Right there. I mean, and then the acceleration. It's impressive, and he is the newcomer of the year in the Big 12 for a reason on offense. And you know, I think the future is certainly bright for Lake Seastrunk.
Transferred from Oregon, redshirted there in 2010, and sat out at Baylor. After he transferred for a while there, he was in reports at the center of the Willie Lyles investigation, which is still ongoing. He fumbled the ball there, and UCLA recovers. Eric Kendricks has it for the Bruins. Check that. It was Zumwalt that had the recovery.
Yeah, he was fighting for extra yardage, and that ball was out before the knee was down, and the third fumble of the night for Baylor. Well, you don't see that very often. +3 or -3 in the turnover ratio, and you're still winning the game 42-19.
First and 10 for UCLA on its 30-yard line. Franklin in a slip. Only got about a yard on the play. Well, even though this has not been a good night for UCLA, it has been a good year. And it's a program that might struggle under Rick Neuheisel in 4 years, 21 and 29. They made it to the Pac-12 title game last year because USC was ineligible. They lost the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl as Hundley rolls out and throws low, intended for Franklin. They lost that game, so they finished 6-8.
Yeah.
Jim Mora, according to reports, was not their first decision, and he ends up getting a job coming from the NFL and leads them to 9 wins.
And some people didn't like the selection of Jim Mora. Some people thought you can't come from an exclusive pro career. 25 years he was with the 49ers and the Falcons and the Seahawks, that it wouldn't translate in recruiting. It wouldn't translate in communicating and relating to these kids. And I think the thing that is most impressive this year is that they found a coach in Jim Mora, and you can feel good about that.
That pass was tipped at the line, it appeared, and incomplete. Evans could not come up with it, so 4th down and 9. And UCLA will go for it here. And Hundley, he's a redshirt freshman. Yeah. He's 6'3", 220 pounds. And he's a drop-back quarterback. That's what Morris says. Even though a lot of people call him a dual-threat guy, he certainly is that. But he's thrown the ball 46 times tonight. Now they've been behind as that pass on 4th down is deflected. And again, Baylor will take over on downs. That's Sam Hall who got a hand on it. And Palmer went for the interception. It didn't matter. 4th time that UCLA is. They're keeping Nick Florence in the game at quarterback. Going to hand it off to Martin inside the 30. It's been mostly run plays for Baylor out of their 64 plays. They've only thrown it 13 times.
That looks like a Navy
65 plays,
stat line there. 52 rushes, 13 pass. I mean, you just threw that up there. You would not guess Baylor of all teams in the country.
No. And at what point, if you're Art Briles, do you say, okay, we've got the game won. Let's take a little bit longer look at Bryce Petty, their backup, because they've got to think about next year. They're not sure if Petty's the guy. They've got some recruits and also some other guys on the roster that haven't played, including red shirts, as Martin is close to the first down, going to bring up 3rd about a yard.
I understand where you're going with that, but I think that's more of a pro mentality. Take a look at a young player. Tonight is about Nick Florence. It's his last game in college. He should be able to play as much as he wants to play in this football game. They owe it to him. And I wouldn't be surprised if he played the remainder of the game.
They get the first down with Martin on the ground. They'll keep the clock running inside 10 minutes to go with Baylor in command.
And you know Nick Florence wants to soak every bit of this up. He had to wait 3 years behind Robert Griffin III to play. And he wants to get every ounce out of this game.
On the UCLA 20, Florence will run it. He's to the 15 for 5 yards. Well, I mentioned they've got some players on the roster and some recruits. Overall, the recruiting for Baylor is on the rise. And when you win a Heisman Trophy and the guy goes on then to play in the Pro Bowl the next year, it elevates your profile.
And then you build a new stadium. That's going to be done right on the highway that comes right through Waco, Texas, where a lot of people drive through. And you don't have to go out and recruit nationally. You just have to take care of your backyard right there in Waco, Texas. They only have 8 players on this entire team of over 100 players that are outside the state of Texas. So I think the ability for them to recruit is going to continue to go up.
Florence just goes to the ground, loss of 1.
And you look at this recruiting. I mean, this is it. I mean, they're already starting to feel the positive effects of Robert Griffin III and of a follow-up season where they came out and showed that it's not all about one guy. It's about a coach that is on the cutting edge of offensive football. It's about a coach that has great relationships with all the high school coaches in Texas, that they feel comfortable sending their kids to him, and that they're going to be productive.
Did you see one of those kids is a quarterback / defensive tackle? That's what it said. Florence will throw on 3rd down and 6 to the end zone, and the receiver, Lanier Sampson, went out of bounds. There was also some contact with Aaron Hester. And if you're blocked out, you can come back in. And Hester then appeared to interfere with Sampson. He was trying to come back into the field of play.
Pass interference. Defense, number 21. The foul occurred in the end zone. Automatic first down at the 2-yard line.
Oh, you're right. You get a little push there, and that's, the ball's in the air. Push them out. You can't do that. And that's a pretty clear infraction.
Yep. So 1st and goal on the 2. They got Glasgow Martin in the backfield looking for rushing touchdown number 4. Martin with the stutter step and comes up just short. 2nd and goal. Baylor, for the first time in school history, in a bowl game for the 3rd straight year. You got to go back to 1949 to 1951, where they won at least 7 games, 3 straight seasons. Here's Florence straight ahead. He's in, touchdown. 48 points for Baylor with 1 more coming.
And that's the 10th rushing touchdown for Florence on the season. It wasn't like he's just a pocket guy that didn't run the football, but he got in 10 times this year, and that's a great feeling to go out that way, score a touchdown in the 4th quarter. The back of your jersey's all dirty. You're winning the game, and that's a nice way to go out for Nick Florence.
Think about this in college football this year. You lose the Heisman Trophy winner. His replacement, Nick Florence, leads the nation in total offense. Texas A&M loses a top 10 draft pick at quarterback. Do that on this very program tonight, or do you want to wait?
I'll wait. I'll make you tune into the Kraft Fight Hunger Bowl on Saturday.
Okay. Good tease. Short kickoff, and again, it's fielded by Kendricks, a linebacker. He's out near the 29-yard line.
I am looking forward to seeing Notre Dame's defense, which has been the story all year for them, go up against that offense from Alabama, that offensive line. That game in the trenches is going to be so interesting to watch. A lot of future NFL talent on the offensive line for Alabama, certainly talent on the defensive line for Notre Dame. That'll be a battle that I really look forward to watching.
Well, Notre Dame had played an incredibly tough schedule. They had some close calls, including against a bad Pitt team, but they also had some good wins. On the road at USC, beating Stanford as Hundley goes downtown for Jerry Johnson. Johnson dragged down by Casey inside the 20.
Nice throw here. Jerry Johnson gets singled up on the outside, and this is just straight speed on a go route, and that ball is right in the breadbasket, and a saving tackle from Casey.
55 yards. So first down at the 15-yard line. Hundley throwing it out into the flat. And a big hit as Kenneth Walker gets nailed by Ahmad Dixon.
I know I said this a little bit earlier, but this situation for UCLA, and specifically for Brett Hundley, is so critical. And if I were the head coach, Jim Mora, I would have had the conversation on the sideline with him with respect to building leadership and building respect with your team, because what they do right here is going to have a big impact on how the offseason goes.
Hundley finds Fourier. He's inside the 10, brought down by Hicks.
And when you're trying to change a culture like Jim Mora is at UCLA, from one that was one of entitlement to one of toughness and to play for 60 minutes, you want to look in very close detail at how each one of these guys plays in this situation, because it'll tell you about their character.
Third down and short. And Hundley going end zone. Throw it over the head of the intended receiver, Jordan Payton. Fourth down, UCLA will go. Now, even though this night went poorly for UCLA, there's a lot to be proud of if you're a Bruin fan. Of course, they end up losing their final 3 games, including the 2 to Stanford, but you've got to be encouraged by the win over USC, beating Nebraska, showing offensively that you can be physical running the football, and also on defense be physical. And that, again, the moniker for UCLA had not been a physical team in the past. In the end zone, it's broken up, and another turnover on downs. Fourier, the intended receiver. Mike Hicks had coverage, and it'll be Baylor ball.
Well, and that's what UCLA should have done. Throw the ball up to him. He just didn't make the play.
Kingsbury, who you predicted when we had A&M against LSU in mid-October, he'd be a head coach after the season, and he's now back where he played. Jared Salubi in the game at running back, and he's out near the 15-yard line. Just during the commercial, Jim Moore, the head coach, Noel Mazzoni, the offensive coordinator, talking with their freshman quarterback, Brett Hundley.
Yeah, we were just talking about Jim Moore and how much he cares for his players, and they're going to take care of Brett Hundley and say, look, man, you're going to learn from this situation. You're going to learn more from this game than you may learn from any other game you played this year, and I'm proud of you. You fought till the end. And there's a lot of football left for Brett Hundley, and they're trying to build a program around him. And I think it was the right thing for Jim Moore to do, to go up, put his arm around your quarterback, and say, "Look, you gave it everything you had. Proud of you, and we're gonna build on this."
Baylor letting the play clock run down. They're going to hand it off to Salubi again, and he's close to the first down and has it at the second effort. I thought it was interesting what he said, Brian, yesterday when he talked about, even though he's been in the NFL, he really enjoys being in college, Jim Moore, because of the relationship he can have with his players. It's really an open door in college, closed door with players in the pros. Why is that?
Well, the pro football is a business, and there's a lot of money going around. Guys are getting paid a lot. Coaches are getting paid a lot. If you don't produce, you're going to get fired, and it's a business. And in college, what Jim was saying to us yesterday is it's so much fun. And about 75% of my time is not spent on the field, but with these players, talking about their character and their girlfriends and problems they're having. And he loves that part of it. I really think that Jim Mora has found his spot, and it's in college football going forward.
Salubi gets about 8. I thought the most interesting point was when he said you can't show weakness in the NFL as a player. If you go talk to your head coach and say, I'm struggling with this, well, now your head coach is going to doubt you.
Exactly.
Where in college you can do that.
And I think he wants his players to come to him, and that's a great point. In the NFL, you show weakness, or if you show, hey, I'm I'm struggling off the field with this. All of a sudden, a coach questions whether he can count on you on Sunday. But in college, you have an open door policy, and you want to build the character in these kids, and you want to support them like a father. And that's what Jim Moore has done.
Yeah, he's got a 17-year-old that's going to be playing soccer in college. His Salubi's wrapped up and thrown down by Anthony Barr. A legal tackle in between the tackles there. And he said, you know, I like the opportunity to mentor kids. And clearly he's had an impact, because you got a lot of the guys that played under the previous regime who he and his staff got more out of this year.
Well, there's a lot of similarities to what Pete Carroll did at USC, coming in as a 49-year-old coach. He'd been in the NFL for a long time, and then came in and had a lot of success at USC. And I think it's not too distant to think that Jim Moore can have the same kind of success at UCLA.
Salubi gets the first down as we near the 3-minute mark, with Baylor on top 49-19. By the way, SportsCenter is on ESPN2 right now. We'll have it from LA, just a couple of hours up north from here on ESPN following this game. Clippers going to get their 15th straight win. I know you're fired up about that. As a Nugget fan, watching go down on Christmas night.
Yeah, they went down on Christmas.
And Florence is done. What a season for Nick Florence. Art Briles going to the bench here. Florence sets the single season record for passing yards, breaking Heisman Trophy winner Robert Griffin III's mark from a year ago. Bryce Petty in the game, and he'll hand it off to Salubi again.
Well, and congratulations to Nick Florence for everything he's accomplished on the field. And I just want to say congratulations for everything he's done off the field. I think it's impressive what he's done, being the Big 12 Student Athlete of the Year, being nominated as a National Football Foundation Scholar Athlete. And at the end of this game, he's the Capital One Player of the game. So you couldn't have gone out any better, Nick Florence. Congratulations.
Getting his MBA. He's married. His wife Rachel's a Baylor grad. And he ends up leading the nation in total offense. Started 7 games in 09 when RG3 was hurt. As Salubi tries to get outside and stay in bounds. And he did. And the clock continues to run. And the challenge for Art Briles will be, who's the next guy? He's always been able to find a guy at quarterback wherever he's been, whether it's been at Baylor, Houston, or even when he was on staff at Texas Tech when Kingsbury was
yeah,
quarterback.
Kingsbury, absolutely. He's had a run of good ones, and I know this. He won't have any trouble finding guys lining up to try to play in this offense. Just like you are at the halfback position, there's going to be a lot of guys that want to come and play in Art Briles' style of offense.
Taking the play clock down to 1, and Petty wrapped up in the backfield by Dayton Jones.
That Gatorade bath is going to be cold in this wind tonight.
I don't think he cares. 2 bowl wins in a row. Finally getting a chance to play a postseason game in California.
Ooh, that was good.
I told you didn't care.
Well, the official got it too. The head linesman over there got about as much of it as Coach Briles did.
I don't think there's a whole lot. We've had them a lot in the postseason. I don't think there's a whole lot that phases Art Briles.
No.
He pretty much has a good handle on his team and on his program, and clearly had a good handle on this game. And he's still coaching. He was smiling after the Gatorade bath, but something got him upset. And hey, you got the head linesman.
There he is.
Having a good time with it. RG Detillier. Capital One Bowl Week available live anytime, anywhere on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, at WatchESPN.com and with the Watch ESPN app.
It's a collateral damage, when you stand next to the coach, and at the end of games, you got to have your head on a swivel.
Hey, RG3 got the Gatorade shower last year. RG Detillier, the head linesman, gets the Gatorade bath this year.
Here it comes. He's not expecting anything, and right down the shirt.
RG1 got the bath this year.
That was great concentration there.
Somebody else just got the shower on the sideline, and that's it. Baylor goes to 8-5. UCLA finishes 9-5. SportsCenter is up next here on ESPN. What a night, what a season for Nick Florence and Art Briles. Baylor will have to snap the ball one more time. Don't forget SportsCenter coming up next. Big NBA news, a coaching change in Brooklyn, and will Phil Jackson be coming back to coaching? And also the Clippers continue to roll. They hammered the Celtics tonight. Final play, Hundley, and it's caught at the 5 and going to be close to the goal line. Let's see how they rule it. Touchdown. So with no time left, UCLA gets a touchdown. They're celebrating like they won the ball game, but Logan Sweet with a touchdown catch. And he'll kick the point after, and then this will be done. It's Moore's choice here. He can choose whether to kick it or not. And
I think that Sweet came up short of the goal line, and Art Briles right now is trying to get the attention of the official.
He wants them to review it further upstairs. And
he wants to call a timeout
to challenge it. Why not? If they're not going to review it automatically, he's saying, let me call timeout so I can challenge it.
Yeah.
Let's see if Sweet got
timeout. Take a look. Baylor, their second. It'll be 30
the knees
seconds.
down.
He's not
he's about a yard short. And I don't think there's any question he was short.
And so Briles was waiting, hoping that they would review it further. They didn't. He called timeout to challenge it with no time left. He's not in. So the game's over. They'll take the points off the board. Well, he challenged the ruling, but we haven't had an announcement. Now maybe Briles said, you know what, I'm not going to challenge it then. Just forget about it. But he was trying to call timeout. Anyway, strange ending. Moore elected there to go ahead and kick it. Final score is 49-26. Briles doesn't like that, but I think when he looks back at the film, he'll be pretty happy with the way his team's dominated.
He likes winning 4 in a row at the end of the season. I know that.
So 49-26 is the final. Baylor wins it. For Brian Gracie, Jen Brown, our entire outstanding crew throughout the season, I'm Dave Pasch. So long from San Diego. SportsCenter from Los Angeles.